Okay, so we're picking up where we left off last time. We're on Genesis 32. Okay. As Jacob started on his way again, angels of God came to meet him. When Jacob saw them, he exclaimed, "This is God's camp." So he named the place Mahariim. Then Jacob sent messengers ahead to his brother Esau, who was living in a region of Seir, in the land of Edom. He told them, "Give this message to my master Esau. Humble greetings from your servant Jacob. Until now I have been living with Uncle Laban, and now I own cattle, donkey, flock, and sheep and goats, and many servants, both men and women. I have sent these messengers to inform my lord of my coming. Hope that you will be friendly with me." After delivering the message, the messengers returned to Jacob and record, and reported, We met your brother Esau, and he was already on his way to meet you with an army of 400 men." Jacob was terrified at the news. He divided his household among the flocks and the herds and the camels into two groups. He thought, if Esau met one group and attacked it, perhaps the other group could escape. Then Jacob prayed, "O God of my grandfather Abraham and God of my father Isaac, O Lord, you told me, return to your land, and I will, and the land of your relatives, and you promised me I will treat you kindly. I am not worthy of all your unfailing love and faithfulness you have shown me, your servant. When I left home and crossed the Jordan River, I owned nothing except a walking stick. Now my household is filled with two large camps. O Lord, O Lord, please rescue me from the hands of my brother Esau. I am afraid that he is coming to attack me along with my wives and children. But you promised me, I will surely treat you kindly, and I will multiply your descendants, and until they have become numerous as the sands on the seashore, too many to count." Jacob stayed where he was for the night. Then he selected these gifts from his possession to present to his brother Esau: 200 female goats, 20 male goats, 200 ewes, 20 rams, 30 female camels with their young, and 40 cow, 10 bulls, and 20 female donkeys, and 10 male donkeys. He divided these animals into herds and assigned each of them to a different servant. Then he told his servants, "Go ahead of me with the animals, but keep a distance between the herds." He gave them instructions to the men leading the first group. "When you meet my brother Esau, he will meet you, and he will ask you, 'Whose servants are you?' And says, 'And where are you going? And whose animals are these?' And you will reply, 'They belong to my servant Jacob, but they are a gift for you from my master Esau.' So look, he's coming right now behind us." Jacob gave the instructions to the second and third herdsmen and to all the following behind the herds. You must say that these things to Esau when you meet him, and be sure that you say, 'Look, your servant Jacob is right behind us.'" Jacob thought, "I will try to appease him by sending gifts ahead of me. When I see him in person, perhaps he will be friendly to me." So the gifts were sent ahead while Jacob himself spent the night at the camp. During the night, Jacob got up and his two wives and his two servant wives and the 11 sons and crossed the Jabbok River with them. After taking them on the other side, he sent over his possessions. This left Jacob all alone in the camp, and the man came to wrestle with him until the breaking of dawn began. When the man saw that he would not win the match, he touched Jacob's hip and wrenched it out of its socket. Then the man said, "Let me go, for the dawn is breaking." But Jacob said, "I will not let you go until you bless me." "What is your name?" asked the man. He replied, "Jacob." "Your name will no longer be Jacob," the man told him, "for now you will be called Israel, because you have fought with God and with man, and you have won." "Please tell me your name," Jacob said. Please tell me your name," Jacob said. Why do you want to know my name?" the man replied. Then he blessed Jacob there. Jacob named the place Peniel, which means face of God. He said, "I have seen God's face to face, yet my life has been spared." And the sun was arising as Jacob left Peniel, and he was limping because of the injury on his hip. Even today, the people in Israel do not eat the tendons near the hip socket because of what happened that night when the man strained his tendon of Jacob's hip. Then Jacob looked and saw Esau coming with 400 men. So he divided his children amongst Leah, Rachel, and the 2 servant wives. He put the servant wives and their children in the front, Leah and her other children next, and Rachel and Joseph last. So Jacob went on ahead. As he approached his brother, he bowed to the ground 7 times before him. Then Esau ran to meet him and embraced him, threw his arms around him and his neck, and he kissed him, and they both wept. Then Esau looked at the women and the children and asked, "Who are these people with you?" They are children God has graciously given me, your servant," Jacob replied. It says, Then the servant wives came forward with their children and bowed to them. And then Leah came with her children and bowed to them. And finally Jacob and Joseph and Rachel came forward and bowed to him. "And what were all these flocks and the herdsmen that came to meet me?" Esau asked. Jacob replied, "They are gifts from my Lord to ensure our friendship." "My brother, I have plenty," Esau answered. "Keep what you have to yourself." But Jacob insisted, "No, if I have found any favor with you, please accept the gifts from me." And what a relief it is to see a friendly smile. It is like seeing the face of God. "Please take the gifts I have brought you, for God has been very gracious to me. I have more than enough." And because Jacob insisted, Esau finally accepted the gifts. Well, Esau said, "Let's be going. I will lead the way." But Jacob replied, You can see, my lord, that some of the children are very young, and the flock and herds here are young too. If they are driven too hard, even for one day, all the animals could die. Please, Lord, go ahead of your servant. We will follow you slowly at a pace that we are comfortable with for the livestock and the children, and we'll meet up with you at Seir." "All right," Esau said, "but at least let me assign new men to guide you and protect you." Jacob replied, "That's not necessary. It is enough that you have received me warmly, my lord." So Esau turned around and started back to Seir that same day. Jacob, on the other hand, traveled on to Shukosh, and there he built himself a house and made a shelter for his livestock. This is why the place is named Shukosh, which means shelter. Later, having traveled all the way from Padarium, Jacob arrived safely to the town of Shechem, the land of the Canaanites. There he set up camp outside the town. Jacob brought the plot of land where he camped from his family, Hamor, the father of Shechem, 100 pieces of silver, and there he built an altar and named it Elohim Israel. And we are going to stop there, and that is Genesis 33:20. Bye.